Welcome to the Stripped Podcast. This is your host, Allison Lassard. Let's get into it. Why is it that the things that come the easiest and most natural to us are the things that we trust the least? Today, I want to talk about the gift that won't leave you alone and why centering your joy using that gift is the real path to abundance. Let's dive in. All right, I want to start this episode with a little storytelling about being a very intuitive child. So I was always very psychic and clairvoyant, even when I was really little. So I remember having very prophetic, clairvoyant dreams as young as like 5 years old. My dad sees spirits. My grandmother on my mom's side sees spirits. Like, we're all witchy, so it's been there. And I was definitely born that way. But over time, I got more curious about it, And so for those of you that know me and have been here for a long time, you know that I started out on YouTube doing intuitive readings and talking about conscious relationship. And that's something that I still do part of the time. But at a certain point, I felt like maybe it was time to try new things. And so I sort of moved away from it for a while. But the gift always comes back around to haunt you, you guys. I have friends who are artists, for example, who just can't figure out like how to monetize it, so they're not going further with it, or, people that have other types of gifts that feel so easy for them. But you have to remember that what feels easy and natural to you does not feel easy and natural to everyone, okay? Like my sister, I talk to her all the time, and she's like terrified to be on camera and talk. She thinks that a podcast would be her absolute nightmare. For me, when I was a little kid, I used to record myself on a tape recorder with a little mic, talking to myself for hours on end. Yes, I was an only child. And I had tape cassettes of me just talking and babbling all by myself in the room. And here we are on the couch with the podcast and the mic. It's like, it's always been there, the gift of gab or the psychic gifts. And so when I was an adult, I started to get curious about how I could use those gifts. But again, I was doing this stuff for fun by myself for free. It was not my job at first, okay? So I think the number one thing to remember here is that the first step is probably not to monetize it, okay? For some people, yeah, jump off the cliff. It might be your path. But for most people, it's gonna be something that you're doing already that, again, feels really easy and fun for you. And for me, that was always like intuitive development stuff, ghost stuff, witchy stuff. I was always interested reading books about it or whatever. And eventually I got into like tarot cards, and I'm like, this is fun. Let me teach myself that. Around that same time, and oracle cards as well. Around that same time, I decided to go take a Reiki course. And that was where it really started to happen for me, when I started to put my hands on people, and it was free. I was working at a wellness spa, like a hotel/spa, and I had all these wellness people around me that were spiritual and interested. So I just started asking people if I could practice on them for free. And I had done lots of those sessions, and amazing experiences were happening, like wild experiences. People were seeing things, hearing things. I was also experiencing mediumship, and their dead relatives were talking to me and giving me messages and speaking in their accents, and even talking to me in Spanish when that's not my native language, and giving me ultra specific messages. So it was a very wild time, but I will never forget the day that I had done so many sessions. I don't know, maybe I'd done like 20 different sessions. And one of the guys that I work with came over, and after we were done, he dropped a $50 bill on my kitchen table. And I was like, oh, what's that for? And he's like, oh, no, I want to pay you. That was amazing. I want to pay you. And it was in that moment where I realized it's not like I didn't think it was valuable. It's just I wasn't feeling ready to charge. Like I was feeling, like, oh, I have to be better. I have to be perfect. I have to like refine it. But again, it was a very honest desire that was rooted in integrity. And so number one, I'm telling you, maybe monetizing it right off the bat isn't the thing. Number two, once you share your gift enough times, if it's valuable, people are going to tell you that it's valuable. So at the point that you've shared it enough that there is a value, that people are telling you, hey, I'm getting something from this. Hey, this is amazing. Well, maybe at that point you start considering, okay, you know what? Maybe there's something here that I could package and do something with professionally. But like I said, for me, that was not a linear process, and it didn't happen right away. But I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't doing those Reiki sessions for that long before people started paying me. So I knew there was something to explore. Like I said, fast forward, I learned how to read tarot cards. I learned astrology. I was doing readings of both those things for a while, again, for free, practicing and doing it on myself. And then finally I was like, I'm just going to charge $20, 20 bucks for a reading. And then whatever, 20 bucks for astrology stuff. Like, I started small and then I refined it as I went. And again, you take a little time and do that. Eventually people are going to be like, wow, this is really, really valuable. But here's the thing. A lot of people are overlooking their gifts because, number one, it feels too easy. So you can't possibly imagine how people would want to either pay for it or how it's worthy if it's not a struggle. Because number two, most of us are conditioned to succeed in life through pain. If it's not a hard work, if it's not a struggle, if you're not walking uphill, sludging in the mud, if you're not crying every night, well, you're not succeeding. That's bullshit, but I understand because I've also struggled with that for a very long time. Making things way harder than they have to be. Trying to take the hard road instead of doing the things that feel more natural. Like, it's a thing. We all go through this, I think. The reason this came to mind is because we're doing a fundraising event end of the year for 3 Jewels, which is the Buddhist studio that I study with in New York City, because they do all kinds of like donation-based, it is a nonprofit, and the classes are by donation. They offer a ton of like meditation teacher training scholarships, yoga teacher training scholarships, completely taken care of for people that would never have access to these resources. So it's really incredible. So I was like, yeah, I definitely want to participate and do something. And what they said in the meeting was like, whatever it is that you want to share, center your joy. And I laughed because my word of the year for 2025 was joy. Again, I have a tendency to make things harder than they have to be. So my whole sort of mission this year was to make sure that the things that I was doing were joyful and that I was prioritizing my joy, and that in work I was doing that personally I was doing that offline. And it's been amazing. It has been an incredible sort of mantra. But when they brought that up for the fundraising event, I was like, what am I going to do? And I started thinking about workshops and other stuff, and it all felt hard and draining. And I kept staring at my oracle cards and my tarot cards. I'm like, why don't I just do readings? So I'm offering 5. I'm capping it. 5 spots for $99 for 40-minute intuitive readings. These are going to go really fast. So if you want it, follow the instructions below. It's a 2-step process. I'll share that again at the end. But anyway, that's what sparked this episode, because when the woman that was telling us was like, center your joy, whatever you do. I've been reevaluating stuff too for 2026. And I've been back and forth with readings here on the channel, and I was doing them recently. Then I took a little break to go do some other stuff. But I can tell you right now, over the years, especially over the last like 5 years or so, since the pandemic, I've experimented with a lot of stuff. I try to do a bunch of different like coaching things because that's who was mentoring me, and none of them were really landing fully. Everything felt hard. And like the more that I tried to go in that direction, the harder it felt. And the further away I got from the intuitive stuff, the more kind of drained and tired I felt. And the second I pick up the cards, it's like it brings me back to life. I really enjoy it. And that's 15 years like that. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Like I said, I have friends and clients who are still struggling with this because they're trying to make it into something for money like too fast, and it's putting too much pressure on them, and they're feeling paralyzed. So the way that I built it was when I was still working. I'm not saying that that's true for you. Like I said, you might be one of those rare people that can jump off the cliff. Maybe you have money saved. Maybe you have support. Maybe you live at home. Like maybe you have a partner that can help subsidize. If you do, that's great. But for a lot of people, it's too paralyzing mentally because you put too much pressure, and then like your creative flow is blocked, and you get into like too much fear and doubt and scarcity. So I would recommend, if this is something, this isn't like a business episode. I'm just saying, if you have a gift, I can almost guarantee you that you're meant to share it with people. It's not meant to be hidden. But gifts don't grow in isolation forever. They're going to grow when you share them. But the reason that most people won't share their gift is that they're afraid to fail, be judged, be perceived like that they're failing, or that they're going to take missteps, or that you're not going to be immediately recognized or valued through money. And so you start to doubt it. But You guys, if you do it for free and it's something you would do regardless of money, that's a really good indicator. Like, I was doing the tarot cards and stuff for pure joy, and I was doing them like every day for myself, and I was learning, and it was so fun for me, and it didn't feel like work ever. So when I started to do it for other people, it really didn't feel like work either. You have an occasional tough session, but otherwise it's very easy. And so whatever comes easily to you that you really like, if you've had this haunting, like I have a haunting always, like I'm always being brought back to the intuitive gifts. Something haunts you, there's a reason. There is a reason. And imagine, like, for example, the lady on TV, Teresa, the Long Island medium, or that other guy in Hollywood, I think his name's Tyler Henry, and he reads people intuitively and does mediumship. He passes on the most beautiful messages from people's loved ones that have passed away, and these people's lives are changed. I'm just using that as an example. It's like a more unconventional gift, but like people in Hollywood want it. It's like, think about it. Like, you weren't born with this stuff for no reason. But like I said, all the pieces that come with turning it into a profession, that's a whole nother path. But it's possible. And so if you have that inkling, or maybe you're just like, you've already got something going, like my girlfriend that like is an artist and knows she wants to really center her artistry, but kept getting sucked into the coaching stuff because that's what made her money, but she doesn't like it. She doesn't like it. It drains her. Even if it makes you money, it doesn't mean that's the thing. All right. So that's it. I wanted to keep this episode short and sweet. If you want to snag one of those $99 readings, the instructions are below. You have to follow the instructions, all right? And you've got to get the payment made through the fundraising link and then send me the screenshot and get that booking on the books, on the calendar within 24 hours, or you lose your spot, okay? Literally, think about what your life could be like if you were centering your joy and using your gift, or gifts if you have more than one. Just think about it, because I want that for you. All right. I know what it's like. And I know, like I said, I always think back to the feeling of that guy from work dropping the $50 bill on the table, and it changed the whole trajectory of my life and my career. And of course you can evolve it over time, and it can be refined, and I'm refining things in my work now, but I'm still being drawn back to the intuitive stuff. So with that, I love you, and I will see you guys next week.